afternoon, Omaha police identified the man and woman who died in what investigators are calling an apparent murder-suicide. The woman is 25-year-old Alexandria Mitchell. The man, 29-year-old Nicholas Page. Police were called to a domestic disturbance at an apartment complex near 70th and Oak around lunchtime yesterday. Officers say they knocked on the apartment door, announced themselves as police, then they heard 2 gunshots and found Mitchell and Page dead inside. A gun was found nearby. In relevance to that incident, one Omaha nonprofit is reminding us that help is available for those who may be in a similar situation. 6 News' Johan Marin joins us now live in the newsroom with more details on that part of it. Johan?
Brian, officials at the Women's Center for Advancement tell me domestic violence incidents like these are unfortunately becoming more prevalent in the metro and across the nation. Statistics show in the United States, 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men have experienced some form of physical violence by an intimate partner. Nonprofit leaders say no matter what the situation is, they want people to know they have all the resources to meet each person's need at the WCA.
So we have a clothing boutique for that reason. We have personal items that we hand out, like a little overnight bag, or maybe it's a couple overnights worth of like shampoo, toothpaste, toothbrush, things of that nature. So we try to meet a survivor's basic needs when they come in after a crisis situation needing assistance.
The nonprofit also helps address legal remedies, access to a crisis counselor, and support classes. And they say those in need of help to contact their crisis hotline. On your side, in the newsroom, Johan Marin, 6 News.